The great hall of the Galactic Council was filled with noise and angry voices. 12 different alien species had gathered on the massive space station, floating near the center of the galaxy. They all had one thing in common. They wanted to destroy humanity. Admiral Corax of the Red Fleet stood tall on his 6 legs. His dark blue skin gleamed under the bright lights as he spoke to the assembly. The humans have spread to too many worlds. They are like a disease that keeps growing. We must stop them now before they become too strong. Chancellor Vera nodded her large head. Her 3 eyes looked at the holographic map showing human colonies scattered across space. My scouts report that humans have settled on 63 planets in the last 50 years. They are building cities and farms everywhere they go. Soon they will control all the good worlds. Commander Drax slammed his metal fist on the table. His robot body made loud clicking sounds when he moved. The humans are weak. They only have simple weapons and slow ships. My analysis shows they cannot fight against our advanced technology. Dr. Quinn, the chief war planner for the council, activated a large screen that showed human military data. Based on our studies, human forces will be defeated in 6 to 8 hours once we attack. Their biggest fleet has only 300 ships. We have over 4,000 vessels ready for battle. The other aliens made sounds of agreement. Some clicked their claws, others buzzed with their wings, and a few growled deep in their throats. They all believed the humans would be easy to defeat. High Leader Zorn raised one of his 4 arms to get everyone's attention. The humans have shown they can fight, but they are no match for our combined power. We will attack their home system and destroy Earth. When their homeworld burns, the rest will surrender quickly. What none of the aliens knew was that Captain Lisa Grant was hiding inside their space station. She had been there for 5 days, moving through the air vents and maintenance tunnels. Her special suit made her invisible to their scanners, and she could understand their language through a translator device in her ear. Lisa pressed a small button on her wrist communicator. Eagle Base, this is Shadow. The aliens are taking the bait. They plan to attack Earth with their entire fleet. Operation Dark Storm is ready to begin. Far away, on a hidden base beyond the edge of human space, General Robert Hayes received the message. Around him, the most powerful weapons humanity had ever built hummed with quiet energy. The aliens had studied human ships and weapons, but they had never seen the secret fleet that humans had been building for 20 years. All stations, prepare for battle, Hayes announced over the intercom. Time to show these aliens what humans can really do. The Alien Council continued their meeting. They talked about destroying human cities and taking over human planets. They were so confident that they did not even consider the possibility of losing. Admiral Corax stood up again. I suggest we start by bombing their homeworld from space. When Earth is destroyed, the human spirit will be broken. The rest will be easy to conquer. Chancellor Vera agreed. Yes, we should make an example of them. Other young species will learn not to challenge us. Dr. Quinn showed more data on his screens. Human technology is at least 100 years behind ours. They still use chemical rockets and metal bullets. Our energy shields will protect us from anything they can throw at us. The vote was quick and unanimous. All 12 species agreed to destroy humanity. They began planning their attack routes and deciding which planets to invade first. Commander Drac pulled up tactical maps. We will jump into their solar system in 3 waves. The first wave will destroy their outer defenses. The second wave will attack their main fleet. The third wave will begin bombing their planets. What the aliens did not know was that every word they spoke was being recorded by Lisa. Her equipment was sending everything back to human command centers across the galaxy. The humans knew exactly when and how the attack would come. On Earth, President Maria Santos received the intelligence report in her underground bunker. How long do we have? She asked her military advisors. The alien fleet will reach Earth in 36 hours, replied Admiral Jackson. Our deep space sensors show they are moving just as our psychologists predicted. Their arrogance is working in our favor. The president nodded. Are our people ready? Yes, ma'am. Every human colony has been evacuated to safe positions. Our decoy fleets are in place around Earth and Mars. The real fleet is hidden and waiting for your orders. Back on the alien space station, the council members were celebrating. They drank strange liquids from metal cups and made toasts to their coming victory. High Leader Zorn raised his cup high. To the end of the human plague. Tomorrow we will show the galaxy that no species can challenge the Galactic Council. The other aliens cheered and made loud noises. They were already planning how to divide up human territory among themselves. Lisa listened to it all from her hiding place. She had seen enough evil in her life, but this level of casual cruelty still made her angry. These aliens were planning to kill billions of innocent people just because humans had been successful at building new homes among the stars. She activated her communicator one more time. Eagle Base, the Council has finished planning. They will attack in 34 hours with everything they have. Transmitting their complete battle plans now. Received, Shadow. Excellent work. Stay hidden until the shooting starts, then get out of there fast. Understood. Shadow out. Dr. Quinn was still showing data to the Council. Once we control human space, we will have access to their agricultural worlds. Human farming techniques could increase food production across our entire empire. Admiral Korax laughed, a sound like grinding metal. First we kill them, then we take their secrets. It is the way of the strong. The aliens spent several more hours planning their attack. They discussed which weapons to use, how to divide their forces, and what to do with any humans who survived the initial assault. None of their plans included the possibility that humans might fight back effectively. As the meeting finally ended, the alien leaders returned to their ships to prepare for war. They were confident that in 2 days humanity would be nothing but a memory. High Leader Zorn stayed behind to review the final attack plans one more time. He looked at the star maps showing the route to Earth and smiled with his sharp teeth. Soon the humans will learn that there is only room for one dominant species in this galaxy. Lisa waited until the station was quiet before beginning her escape. She had planted several small devices throughout the alien base, devices that would help human forces track the enemy fleet and disrupt their communications when the time came. As she crawled through the dark tunnels toward her hidden ship, Lisa thought about all the innocent families on Earth who had no idea that an alien armada was coming to destroy them. But she also thought about the surprise that was waiting for those aliens when they arrived. The Galactic Council believed they were about to crush a weak and primitive species. Instead, they were walking into the most carefully planned trap in military history. In less than 2 days, they would learn that humans had been preparing for this moment for decades. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin, and the aliens had no idea how badly they had underestimated their enemy. The alien war fleet came out of hyperspace like a dark storm cloud made of metal and death. 4,000 ships of different sizes spread across the edge of the solar system. Their weapons began charging with the cold efficiency of a civilization that had destroyed many worlds before. Admiral Korax stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Star Crusher, watching the tactical displays with satisfaction. Human ships detected in defensive positions around their home planet. Exactly as we predicted. Commander Drax's voice came through the communication system from his own massive warship. Their formations are simple and predictable. Orbital defense platforms, destroyer screens, and what appears to be their entire battle fleet positioned between us and Earth. How disappointing. On Earth's moon, Colonel Marcus Webb watched the alien approach from Luna Base's command center. The facility looked like a simple research station to any scanning technology, but beneath its innocent appearance lay the most advanced command system humanity had ever built. Sir, the aliens are maintaining formation exactly as our behavioral experts predicted, reported Lieutenant Sarah Torres from her workstation. Their pride is working in our favor, Webb smiled grimly. That's the difference between them and us. They see war as mathematics. We see it as psychology. The alien fleet continued moving forward, their sensors detecting human ships exactly where they expected to find them. What their scans could not see were the millions of tiny satellites that had been placed throughout the solar system over the past year. Each one was no bigger than a basketball, invisible to normal sensors, and carried enough antimatter to destroy a city block. Captain Elena Rodriguez guided her stealth fighter through the asteroid belt, her ship's experimental cloaking technology making it invisible to alien detection. Behind her, 30 similar vessels waited in perfect silence, their crews barely breathing as the enemy fleet passed within a few thousand kilometers of their hiding spots. This is Ghost Leader to all Ghost units, she whispered into her communicator. Targets are in position. Wait for my signal. Aboard the Star Crusher, Dr. Quinn studied the human formations with growing confidence. Their deployment matches our computer models perfectly. They are protecting their homeworld with everything they have, leaving their outer colonies completely defenseless. What he did not realize was that every human ship his sensors detected was actually a remote-controlled decoy, broadcasting false energy signatures, while the real fleet remained hidden behind a network of gravitational blind spots that human scientists had spent 30 years learning to exploit. The Redu alien fleet reached their planned attack position, weapons fully charged and targeting systems locked onto human positions. Chancellor Vera's voice echoed across all command frequencies. Begin orbital bombardment of the third planet. Show them the price of defying the Galactic Council. It was then that High Leader Zorn noticed something strange on his display. Wait, where are their defensive energy readings? Why are their shields not activating? The question hung in space for a moment, a brief instant of confusion that would prove to be their last moment of confidence. From Luna Base, Colonel Webb pressed a single red button. All units, this is command. Execute Operation Thunderstrike. In that instant, the solar system transformed from a peaceful star system into humanity's perfectly prepared killing field. The tiny satellites that had been sleeping throughout the system activated all at once, creating a three-dimensional web of destruction that surrounded the alien formation. Ships that had ruled star systems for hundreds of years disappeared in brilliant flashes as antimatter charges exploded with surgical precision. Impossible, Admiral Korax roared as his flagship shook under impacts from weapons that his sensors insisted were not there. Where are these attacks coming from? Captain Rodriguez dropped her fighter's cloak and opened fire with humanity's most closely guarded secret: quantum phase cannons that could punch through any known shield technology. Around her, the Ghost Fleet appeared like deadly spirits, their weapons cutting through alien hulls with impossible accuracy. Target their command ships first, she ordered her squadron. Cut off their ability to coordinate. Commander Drac watched in horror as his own battleship's shields collapsed under assault from weapons that seemed to fire from empty space. Emergency jump. All ships retreat to safe distance and regroup. His transmission was cut off as his vessel broke in half, destroyed by a perfectly placed gravity mine that had been waiting for 2 months in the exact spot where human mathematicians had calculated his ship would try to escape. On the bridge of his damaged flagship, Admiral Korax struggled to understand what was happening. His tactical display showed human forces appearing everywhere. Not the few hundred ships they had detected, but thousands upon thousands of vessels emerging from hiding places that should have been impossible to conceal. Sir, we are detecting massive energy signatures from the outer planets, reported his sensor operator. Fear clear in his voice. Something is powering up out there. Beyond Neptune's orbit, humanity's ultimate surprise began to reveal itself. What the aliens had dismissed as ice and rock contained the largest weapon platform ever constructed, a railgun system that stretched across multiple moons, capable of accelerating projectiles to nearly the speed of light. General Hayes's voice reached every human vessel simultaneously through quantum-encrypted channels. Fire Mission Alpha is authorized. Let's give our visitors a proper welcome to the solar system. The railgun system fired, sending a stream of tungsten projectiles screaming across space. Each slug carried the kinetic energy of a nuclear weapon, and there were 15,000 of them painting brilliant lines of destruction through the alien formation. Dr. Quinn, aboard one of the few alien vessels still functioning, stared at his readings in disbelief. This cannot be possible. Their power output readings exceed our theoretical maximums by orders of magnitude. How did they hide technology this advanced? The answer came from an unexpected source. Captain Lisa Grant, who had been sabotaging alien systems from within their own space station, finally revealed her presence as she took control of multiple communication networks throughout the alien fleet. Because while you were studying our weaknesses, her voice echoed, across all alien frequencies, we were studying yours. Every diplomatic meeting, every trade negotiation, every cultural exchange, and we were learning how you think, how you fight, and most importantly, how you underestimate anyone you consider inferior. The alien fleet, which had entered the solar system expecting an easy victory, found itself trapped in a killing field designed by a species that had spent its entire history perfecting the art of warfare. What remained of their forces tried desperately to escape, but every exit route had been anticipated and blocked by human forces. Chancellor Vera's final transmission before her command ship was vaporized carried a note of terrified understanding. What kind of monsters have we awakened? High Leader Zorn, his forearms gripping his command chair as explosions rocked his ship, stared at the tactical display showing the complete destruction of his forces. Send a message to the Council homeworld. Tell them we have made a catastrophic error in judgment, but there would be no message. The Ghost Fleet had already destroyed all long-range communication arrays, ensuring that word of humanity's true capabilities would not spread beyond this system. Attention surviving alien vessels, came a transmission from Colonel Webb's command center. This is Luna Base. You will power down all weapons and prepare to be boarded. Any attempt to resist or escape will result in immediate destruction. The battle that the Galactic Council had expected to last 8 hours was entering its final phase after only 23 minutes. The aliens had brought 4,000 ships to destroy humanity. Less than 200 would survive the next few minutes, and those only because the humans chose to show mercy. As the last alien weapons fell silent, a new chapter in galactic history was about to begin. In the debris field that had once been the pride of the Galactic Council, the few surviving alien vessels clustered together like wounded animals. Their crews struggled to understand how completely they had been defeated. The humans had not just won, they had shown a level of planning and technology that destroyed every belief the aliens had about Earth's people. High Leader Zorn, his forearms shaking as he held onto his command chair, stared at the tactical display showing the complete destruction of his forces. Send an emergency message to the Council homeworld. Tell them we have encountered something far beyond our understanding. But Captain Elena Rodriguez's Ghost Fleet had already cut all long-range communication systems. The aliens could not warn their home planets about what they had discovered. Attention all surviving vessels, came a transmission from Colonel Webb's Lunar Command Center. This is Luna Base. Power down all weapons immediately and prepare to be boarded. Any attempt to resist or escape will result in your immediate destruction. Aboard the crippled remains of the Star Crusher, Admiral Corax found himself face to face with Captain Lisa Grant as she emerged from the maintenance tunnels where she had been hiding. Her stealth suit flickered and became visible, revealing a woman whose calm expression contrasted sharply with the chaos around them. "You are human," Corax said, his voice mixing awe with defeat. "You have been aboard my ship this entire time." Lisa nodded, checking her weapon with practiced ease. 5 days. Long enough to map your entire command structure, download your tactical databases, and plant enough explosive charges to turn this ship into space dust if necessary. How many of you are there? Corax asked, his earlier pride replaced by genuine curiosity. How many spies? How many hidden fleets? How many secret weapons? Enough, Lisa replied simply. The question now is whether your people want to learn to live peacefully with humanity, or if you prefer extinction. Light years away on the Council homeworld of Nexus Prime, the governing chambers had erupted into chaos as their quantum communication networks went silent one by one. Emergency meetings were called. Defensive fleets were mobilized, and for the first time in their civilization's history, the words total defeat were spoken in reference to what they had considered a minor threat. But humanity was already several steps ahead. While the solar system battle had been taking place, human vessels had been moving through hyperspace toward every major council world, carrying a message that would change galactic politics forever. General Hayes stood before the assembled human fleet commanders as the last alien resistance in the solar system was eliminated. Phase 1 is complete. The Council fleet has been destroyed with 0 human casualties. Phase 2 begins immediately. The second phase was not another battle. It was a demonstration of something that would prove more frightening to the galaxy's power structures than any weapon humanity possessed. It was mercy. Rather than pursuing the retreating alien forces or attacking their homeworlds, humanity did something unprecedented in galactic history. They offered terms, not surrender but partnership. They proposed a new way of organizing galactic civilization, where cooperation replaced conquest. Dr. Amanda Foster, humanity's chief diplomatic officer, began broadcasting on all known alien communication frequencies. To the members of the former Galactic Council, Earth extends an offer of alliance. We have demonstrated our capacity for war. Now we wish to demonstrate our capacity for peace. You have 72 hours to respond. The offer was accompanied by complete technical specifications for several revolutionary technologies that the aliens had never seen before. Faster-than-light communication that worked instantly across the galaxy. energy generation systems that could power entire planets, and most shocking of all, medical treatments that could extend the lifespan of any known intelligent species. It was a masterstroke of psychological warfare. Show them you could destroy them completely, then immediately prove you could improve their lives beyond their wildest dreams. Commander Drac, now aboard one of the few functional alien ships, studied the human technical data with amazement. This is impossible. These energy readings suggest they can generate more power than our entire homeworld produces. And these medical formulas, they could eliminate aging entirely. Dr. Quinn, his scientific mind racing to understand what he was seeing, shook his head in disbelief. We spent centuries believing we were the most advanced species in the galaxy. These humans have technology that makes us look like children playing with toys. The human offer created immediate division among the surviving alien forces. Some wanted to accept immediately, overwhelmed by both the demonstration of human military power and the promise of technologies that could transform their civilizations. Others wanted to fight to the death rather than submit to what they saw as humiliation. Chancellor Vera, her 3 eyes studying the data streams, made the decision that would save her species. Signal the human fleet. Tell them the Helix Confederation accepts their terms and requests immediate negotiations. Admiral Corax, still processing the complete reversal of everything he thought he knew about warfare, made a similar choice. The Red Fleet surrenders. We request safe passage to begin diplomatic talks. One by one, the surviving alien commanders chose survival and the promise of a better future over pointless resistance. Within 6 hours of the battle's end, every functional alien vessel had agreed to human terms. High Leader Zorn was the last to surrender, his pride warring with his responsibility to his people. "How do we know you will keep your promises?" he asked during the first communication with human negotiators. Dr. Foster's reply was broadcast to all the alien ships. "Because unlike your previous leaders, we understand that ruling through fear creates enemies, while ruling through mutual benefit creates allies. We do not want subjects. We want partners." The transformation began immediately. Human medical teams transported to the damaged alien ships, treating wounded crew members with advanced healing technology. Human engineers worked alongside alien technicians to repair critical systems. Most importantly, human diplomats began the process of establishing a new form of galactic government. Captain Rodriguez, now serving as military liaison to the former enemy fleet, found herself working directly with the alien commanders she had been fighting hours earlier. "This must be very difficult for you," she said to Admiral Corax during one of their planning sessions. The alien admiral considered her words carefully. "In my culture, defeat in battle means death or slavery. Your people offer something we have never seen before. Defeat followed by genuine partnership. It is confusing, but also hopeful." The news of humanity's victory spread quickly through the galaxy as merchant ships and independent vessels reported the complete disappearance of the Council fleet. But the real shock came when human ambassadors arrived at alien homeworlds not as conquerors, but as negotiators offering mutual cooperation. Within days, the rigid hierarchy that had dominated galactic civilization for thousands of years began to crumble. Species that had been enslaved by the Council found themselves suddenly free. Worlds that had been strip-mined for resources were offered restoration technology. Most importantly, the constant fear of invasion and conquest that had defined interstellar relations was replaced by the possibility of genuine peace. Dr. Quinn, now working alongside human scientists to understand their revolutionary technologies, made a discovery that changed his entire worldview. The humans have been capable of this level of technology for decades. They could have conquered the galaxy at any time. Instead, they chose to hide their capabilities until they were forced to defend themselves. It was this realization that convinced the last holdouts among the alien species to accept human leadership. Humanity had possessed the power to rule the galaxy through force, but had chosen not to use it until they had no other choice. When they did use it, they immediately offered to share both their power and their knowledge with their former enemies. The battle that was supposed to last 8 hours had lasted 37 minutes. The galactic order that was supposed to continue for thousands of years was replaced in less than a week. And at the center of it all, humanity had proven that the greatest victory was not destroying your enemies, but turning them into friends. 3 months after the Battle of Sol, the galaxy was experiencing changes that no one had thought possible. The former council chambers on Nexus Prime had been transformed into the Galactic Cooperation Assembly, where representatives from dozens of species worked together on projects that would have been impossible under the old system of fear and domination. High Leader Zorn, now serving as a cultural advisor rather than a military commander, stood beside Dr. Amanda Foster as they reviewed the latest reports from joint research stations. "Your species continues to surprise us," he admitted, his forearms gesturing toward holographic displays showing incredible technological breakthroughs. "We spent thousands of years believing that strength came from controlling others. You have shown us it comes from working together." Foster smiled, her fingers moving across the quantum interface that connected research teams across the galaxy in real time. "We had some advantages. Earth spent thousands of years learning that cooperation worked better than conquest, usually after making terrible mistakes. The transformation had not been without challenges. Several former council military leaders had refused the peace offer and tried to establish their own territories in the outer regions of the galaxy. These holdouts had been dealt with quickly and efficiently by joint human-alien task forces, proving that the new order would not tolerate those who preferred the old ways of violence and oppression. Captain Elena Rodriguez, now commanding the integrated patrol fleet responsible for keeping peace in the former war zones, received daily reports of worlds that had been enslaved and strip-mined under council rule, now experiencing unprecedented prosperity. The combination of human restoration technology and alien environmental knowledge was turning dead planets into garden worlds within months rather than centuries. The Kepler system just reported their first food surplus in over 300 years, her communications officer announced. They are requesting permission to share their extra supplies with the recovery efforts on Vega Prime. Rodriguez approved the request with a simple gesture. This was how the new galaxy worked. Abundance shared rather than hoarded, knowledge exchanged rather than hidden, and strength measured by what you could build rather than what you could destroy. On Earth, General Hayes walked through the memorial gardens that had been established to honor both human and alien lives, lost during the brief but decisive conflict. The gardens were maintained by volunteers from over 40 different species, each contributing their unique understanding of beauty and growth to create something that went beyond any single world's idea of paradise. "Sir," interrupted Lieutenant Torres, approaching with a data tablet containing the week's reports. "The latest intelligence summaries from our deep space monitoring stations." Hayes reviewed the information with satisfaction. Where once there had been slave ships and military convoys, the hyperspace lanes now carried merchant vessels, research expeditions, and cultural exchange programs. The galaxy's first truly democratic government was taking shape, with humanity serving not as rulers but as facilitators and protectors of a new order built on mutual respect. The most remarkable change was in the former council species themselves. Released from the constant pressure of maintaining military dominance, their civilizations had begun flourishing in ways their own historians had thought impossible. Art, literature, and scientific research experienced Renaissance periods as resources once devoted to warfare were redirected toward improving life for all intelligent beings. Admiral Korax, now working alongside human engineers to design the next generation of exploration vessels, often thought about how completely his understanding of power had been transformed. "We thought the humans were weak because they showed mercy," he told Captain Lisa Grant during one of their regular strategy meetings. "We did not realize that showing mercy from a position of absolute strength is the ultimate demonstration of true power." Lisa, who had transitioned from covert operations to diplomatic relations, nodded thoughtfully. "That is the thing about humans. We have always been better at making friends than enemies. It just took the galaxy a little while to figure that out. The economic transformation was just as dramatic as the political changes. Under the old council system, wealth had flowed upward to the dominant species while conquered worlds remained in poverty. The new system distributed resources based on. Dr. Quinn, now serving as chief science advisor to the Assembly, marveled at the daily breakthroughs being achieved by mixed species research teams. "Human creativity combined with our different ways of thinking has produced advances in 1 year that would have taken us decades to achieve alone," he reported to the Assembly. "We are solving problems that have puzzled us for generations. The most significant breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A joint team of human and alien researchers had discovered how to use quantum mechanics to create what they called harmony fields, energy patterns that could restore damaged ecosystems on a planetary scale. Worlds that had been considered dead for thousands of years were showing signs of life within weeks of the fields being activated. Commander Drac, whose mechanical body had been upgraded with human nanotechnology, led the effort to restore his homeworld's atmosphere. "The Council told us our planet was beyond saving," he said during a live broadcast to the entire galaxy. "Human science has given us hope for the first time in 800 years. The cultural exchange programs were producing equally amazing results. Human art forms were being adapted by alien artists, creating new styles of music, literature, and visual art that no single species could have imagined. Similarly, human artists were learning from alien perspectives, expanding their understanding of beauty and meaning. Chancellor Vera had become particularly interested in human philosophy and ethics. Your concept of individual rights combined with collective responsibility is fascinating," she told Dr. Foster during one of their weekly discussions. "We never developed this balance in our society. We were either completely selfish or completely submissive." The military integration was proceeding smoothly as well. Former enemies now served together on joint patrol ships, protecting trade routes and responding to emergencies throughout the galaxy. The sight of human and alien crews working side by side had become so common that younger beings could hardly imagine the old days of constant warfare. Captain Rodriguez often reflected on how much had changed during her regular meetings with former council commanders. 6 months ago, we were trying to kill each other, she told Admiral Corax. Now we are planning joint missions to explore uncharted regions of the galaxy. It shows the power of leadership, Corax replied. Your leaders chose to build rather than destroy. That choice changed everything. The psychological impact of the transformation was perhaps the most important change of all. For the first time in galactic history, intelligent species could focus their energy and resources on growth and exploration, rather than survival and defense. The fear that had dominated interstellar relations for millennia was being replaced by curiosity and cooperation. High Leader Zorn summarized the change during a speech to the Assembly. We spent so much time and energy preparing for war that we forgot how to prepare for peace. Humanity reminded us that the strongest civilizations are built on trust, not fear. As the first year of the new galactic order approached, humanity had achieved something unprecedented in known history. They had conquered an empire not through destruction, but by proving that there was a better way to organize civilization among the stars. The former council species, once proud and arrogant, now spoke with genuine respect about human wisdom and leadership. More importantly, they had begun to adopt human values of cooperation and mutual aid in their dealings with other species. Dr. Foster stood before the Assembly as they prepared to vote on the new galactic Constitution, a document that guaranteed rights and freedoms for all intelligent beings while establishing frameworks for peaceful cooperation across the stars. Today, we are not just creating a new government, she told the assembled representatives. We are proving that different species can work together as equals, sharing knowledge and resources for the benefit of all. This is humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, not our technology or our military power, but our belief that cooperation is stronger than conquest. The vote was unanimous. Every species, including those that had once sought to destroy humanity, agreed to the new order. The aliens had predicted human defeat in hours. Humanity had ended the war in minutes. But most importantly, they had used their victory to build something that would last for thousands of years. 2 years after the Battle of Sol, the galaxy had become a place that would have been unrecognizable to the old Galactic Council. The transformation was so complete that younger beings across dozens of worlds could hardly believe stories about the time when fear and conquest ruled the stars. That the Galactic Cooperation Assembly had grown from the original 12 council species to include over 200 different intelligent civilizations. Each brought their own knowledge, culture, and perspective to the growing alliance. What had started as humanity's offer of peace had become the foundation for the most prosperous era in galactic history. High Leader Zorn walked through the new assembly gardens on Nexus Prime, marveling at how different the planet looked. Where once there had been military barracks and weapon factories, Now there were research centers and cultural institutes. The gardens themselves contained plants from hundreds of different worlds, all growing together in carefully designed harmony. "The changes still amaze me every day," he said to Dr. Amanda Foster as they reviewed the latest reports from across the galaxy. "2 years ago, I was planning the destruction of your species. Today I cannot imagine the galaxy without human leadership." Foster smiled as she watched young beings from a dozen different species playing together in the garden. That is the beauty of growth. Once you start building instead of destroying, the possibilities become endless. The economic transformation had exceeded everyone's expectations. Under the old system, most worlds had struggled just to survive while a few dominated planets hoarded resources. The new cooperative model had created abundance that was shared based on need and contribution, rather than military power. Captain Elena Rodriguez, now serving as the Assembly's Chief of Exploration, regularly led mixed-species crews on missions to discover new worlds and make contact with previously unknown civilizations. "Every week we find new species who want to join the Assembly," she reported during the monthly leadership meeting. "Word is spreading that there is finally a galactic government that protects rather than conquers." The technological advances achieved through cooperation had revolutionized life across the galaxy. The harmony fields developed by joint human-alien research teams had restored over 300 dead worlds to full ecological health. New medical treatments had eliminated most diseases and extended lifespans for all member species. Energy generation systems provided clean, unlimited power to even the most remote settlements. Admiral Korax, whose own homeworld had been transformed from a barren wasteland to a green paradise, often served as humanity's strongest advocate among species that were still hesitant to join the Assembly. "I fought against the humans," he would tell skeptical alien leaders. "I saw their power firsthand. But more importantly, I saw their character. They could have enslaved us all. Instead, they chose to make us partners." The cultural renaissance was equally impressive. Art, music, literature, and philosophy were flourishing as different species shared their perspectives and learned from each other. Human concepts of individual freedom combined with alien ideas about collective responsibility had created new forms of government and social organization that benefited everyone. Dr. Quinn had become the Assembly's leading expert on what he called cooperative evolution. The idea that intelligent species could accelerate their development by working together rather than competing. "Humans taught us that diversity is strength," he explained to new member species. "The more different perspectives we include, the better solutions we can find to any problem." The military forces of the Assembly had evolved into something entirely new. Rather than armies designed for conquest, they had become rescue and exploration fleets dedicated to protecting peaceful trade, responding to natural disasters, and helping newly contacted species join the galactic community. Commander Drac, whose mechanical body now incorporated technology from 7 different species, led the Assembly's disaster response teams. "Last month, we saved an entire planetary population from an asteroid impact," he reported proudly. "Under the old system, we would have let them die and taken their planet for ourselves." The psychological changes were perhaps the most important of all. For the first time in thousands of years, intelligent beings could look to the future with hope rather than fear. Children grew up learning about cooperation instead of conquest. Scientists focused on discovery rather than weapon development. Artists created beauty instead of propaganda. Chancellor Vera had become particularly interested in what humans called restorative justice, or the idea that wrongdoing should be addressed by healing damage rather than inflicting punishment. "We spent so much energy on revenge," she reflected during a philosophical discussion with human scholars. "Now we spend that same energy on making things better." The transformation had not been without challenges. Several species had attempted to exploit the new system's openness for their own gain. Others had tried to recreate the old hierarchies within their own territories. But the combined strength of the Assembly backed need and potential contribution, creating prosperity in regions that had been neglected for centuries. By humanity's military capabilities had quickly discouraged such behavior. Captain Lisa Grant, now serving as the Assembly's intelligence coordinator, maintained networks throughout the galaxy that watched for threats to the new order. "The beauty of our system is that it offers more benefits for cooperation than anyone could gain through conflict," she explained to new security personnel. Most problems solve themselves when people have better alternatives. The expansion of the assembly continued at a remarkable pace. Every month brought new applications for membership from species that had heard about the prosperity and freedom available under the new system. Some came seeking protection from local conflicts. Others wanted access to the advanced technologies being shared freely among members. All found something they had never experienced before: a galactic government that truly served the interests of its citizens. General Hayes, now serving as humanity's representative to the Assembly's Security Council, often reflected on how completely their understanding of power had changed. "We used to measure strength by how much destruction we could cause," he told a gathering of military leaders from across the galaxy. "Now we measure it by how much growth we can enable." The environmental restoration projects had become symbols of the new era. Worlds that had been poisoned by industrial pollution or devastated by warfare were being returned to natural beauty through the combined efforts of dozens of species. The harmony fields had proven so effective that some planets were becoming more beautiful than they had ever been in their natural state. Dr. Foster stood before the assembly as they celebrated the second anniversary of the new galactic order. Representatives from over 200 species filled the Great Hall, their diverse forms and voices creating a symphony of cooperation that would have been impossible under any previous system. 2 years ago, a small group of species decided that humanity was a threat to be eliminated, she began her speech. They were not entirely wrong. We were a threat, but not to innocent life or peaceful civilization. We were a threat to the idea that might makes right, that the strong should dominate the weak, that fear is stronger than hope. The assembly erupted in sounds of approval from dozens of different species, cheers, whistles, clicks, and harmonics that combined into a celebration of unity in diversity. Today, we have proven that cooperation is not just morally superior. To conquest, it is more effective in every measurable way. Our member species are healthier, wealthier, safer, and happier than they have ever been in recorded history. Our children grow up in a galaxy where their potential is limited only by their imagination, not by the circumstances of their birth. High Leader Zorn, his forearms raised in the traditional gesture of respect, spoke for all the former Council species. Humanity offered us a choice between destruction and partnership. We chose partnership, and it has been the best decision our civilizations have ever made. The humans have given us not just peace, but hope for a future we never dared to dream possible. As the celebration continued into the night, with beings from across the galaxy sharing food, music, and stories, it was clear that something unprecedented had been achieved. The aliens had predicted human defeat in hours. Humanity had ended the conflict in minutes. But their true victory was not military. It was the proof that different species could work together as equals, building something greater than any could achieve alone. The galaxy had learned that the strongest civilizations were not built on fear, but on trust, and that lesson would echo through the stars for generations to come.